The Beaches podcast is going to give you everything you want to know about a beach before you go there. I hope you enjoy the show. Be sure to check out our website, www.sandee.com. Without further ado, let's get into the show.
Ready to swap out those crowded beaches for something a little more, shall we say, mystical?
Mystical, I like that.
This deep dive, we're charting a course for the Emerald Isle. But not just any ordinary trip. We're talking about the incredible diversity of Irish beaches.
Sounds intriguing.
Right. You and our listeners have expressed interest in, really getting beyond the typical tourist spots. And, well, it turns out Ireland's coastline has a lot more to offer than just, coastline.
I'm all ears.
So am I, actually. Our research has uncovered some incredible stuff. Dramatic landscapes, the kind of scenery that takes your breath away, fascinating history, and even some unique ecosystems.
I can already tell this is going to be a good one.
I think so, too, and you're just the expert to guide us. So first things first, can you give us a little geography lesson? What makes these beaches so, different?
Well, for starters, you've got to consider Ireland's location, right? Smack dab in the North Atlantic.
So we're talking windswept cliffs, crashing waves, all that good stuff.
Oh, you'll definitely find your fair share of those. But it's not all just, wild and rugged beauty.
There's more.
Oh, yeah. The Gulf Stream, which is this warm current, actually brings surprisingly mild temperatures to parts of the coast, and with it, diverse marine life.
Now, that's something you don't hear every day.
Right. This creates this really fascinating mix of landscapes, from sheltered coves, perfect for a peaceful afternoon, to those rugged stretches we talked about, the ones sculpted by, thousands of years of wind and waves.
Okay, now you've got me picturing myself exploring sea caves, stumbling upon hidden beaches, the works. So I have to ask, with all this variety, where do we even begin?
Well, why don't we start with a place called Keem Bay? Lead the way. So Keem Bay, it's in County Mayo. And picture this, all right? You're surrounded by these towering cliffs carved by ancient glaciers. And the water.
Don't leave me hanging.
The water is this shade of blue that honestly seems almost impossible, like something out of a dream. And remember the Gulf Stream we talked about?
How could I forget?
Well, it keeps the water crystal clear, perfect for, let's say, spotting some colorful fish.
Sign me up. Are we talking like snorkeling conditions?
Exactly. You might even see some seals if you're lucky.
Okay, Keem Bay is officially on the must snorkel list. But let's say, just for argument's sake, I'm feeling a bit more adventurous. Our notes mention something about surfing in Ireland.
In that case, you got to check out Inchydoney Beach.
Inchydoney Beach, got it. Tell me more.
It's actually two beaches connected by a natural causeway.
A causeway, hold on. Now, for those of us who maybe skipped that day in geology class, what exactly is a causeway again?
It's essentially a narrow strip of land formed over time, kind of like a natural bridge. And in this case, it links these two stunning beaches.
Sounds picturesque, but I'm guessing there's more to it than just a nice walk.
You're right. This causeway actually plays a key role in shaping the waves, making Inchydoney a surfer's paradise.
Okay, now we're talking. How does that work?
So the causeway, it interacts with the tides and currents in a way that creates these, really consistent rolling waves, perfect for, really anyone, from beginners to, seasoned surfers.
I'm getting the feeling that Irish beaches are way more dynamic than people give them credit for. But there was one more spot in our research that really caught my eye, something about a shipwreck.
You must be thinking of Cumminall Beach.
Cumminall Beach, yes, that's the one. What's the story there?
Now, this beach, it's in County Kerry, and it's absolutely stunning, no question. In fact, it was even featured in a movie once.
See, I told you it was captivating, but what's the history there with this shipwreck?
Well, it's not just the shipwreck, though that is fascinating in its own right. It's the overall history. You see, nearby, there are these ruins, the ruins of Dunbeg Fort.
A fort?
An ancient stone fort perched right on the edge of a cliff.
Wow. Okay, so you've got this dramatic coastline, a shipwreck, and an ancient fort. Talk about a storybook setting.
Exactly. It's like stepping back in time. And that's what I think is so special about Irish beaches.
What do you mean?
They're not just about the sand and surf, They're woven into the very fabric of Irish history and culture.
Our sources touched upon that as well, this idea that there's so much more to the experience than meets the eye. It's not just about the beaches themselves, right?
Exactly. Imagine this, okay. After a day spent, let's say, exploring tide pools or hiking along those dramatic cliff paths we were talking about, you end up in a cozy pub, fire crackling in the background.
Sounds about right.
And you're warming up with a bowl of fresh seafood chowder. as a local band plays traditional Irish music.
Okay, you've completely sold me.
Those experiences, the warmth of the people, that rich culture, that's what makes a trip truly memorable.
So, to recap, Irish beaches are anything but one-dimensional. We're talking adventure, history, culture, breathtaking scenery, and a little touch of magic, all rolled into one.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it?
About.
Well, in a world obsessed with these, picture-perfect, curated experiences, are we losing sight of something?
You think so?
I don't know, it's just a thought. But are we overlooking the simple joy of discovery?
That's a good question.
Right. What would happen if we approached every journey, even to a place we think we know like a beach, with that same sense of wonder?
Now, that is something to think about. And on that note, dear listeners, remember, this deep dive, it was just a taste of what awaits you on Ireland's coast. So get out there, explore, and who knows, maybe you'll discover your own hidden gem. Happy travels, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the show, and be sure to tune in next week for your favorite episode about some of the best beaches and beach information in the world.